From geography to history, plants and animals, science, and so much more. This is Mike Butler, and welcome to This Day's Trivia from Bison Podcasts. Each episode, we dive into 5 unique trivia topics, all tied to today's date. And our trusty randomizer wheel will pick one of those topics for the episode. Get ready for 16 fast-paced trivia questions with just 5 seconds between each question. Perfect for testing your knowledge solo or with friends and family, at home or on your next road trip. So buckle up. It's time for this day's trivia. Today is November 18th. Get out your pen and paper to tally up your score. It's time for this day's trivia. Here we go. Topic number 1, November 18th, 1978. Over 900 die in a mass murder-suicide in Guyana. At Jonestown, a commune run by People's Temple founder Jim Jones. A few residents managed to escape into the jungle as the suicides took place. Jim Jones was a charismatic church leader who established his own Christian sect in the U.S. state of Indiana in the 1950s. Topic number 2, it's the birthday of Louis Daguerre, born in 1787 near Paris. Best known for being the first person to come up with a practical process of photography, which would eventually be called the daguerreotype, announced to the public in 1839. Daguerre was not the first to make a permanent photograph. However, previous attempts were poor quality and required many hours of exposure time. Topic number 3. Today marks the start of World Antimicrobial Resistance Awareness Week. Antimicrobial resistance occurs when microorganisms such as bacteria and viruses develop the ability to continue to grow even after exposure to antimicrobial medicines, such as antibiotics and antivirals. If not addressed soon, the World Health Organization believes it could cause 10 million deaths per year by 2050. It's considered one of the most serious health threats facing humanity. Topic 4. A Christmas Story was released on this day, 1983. If you've spent any time around Christmas season in the United States, you may have seen this film as it's all over television every year. The TV stations TNT and TBS are known for their 24-hour marathon of the film, starting the evening of December 24th and ending that evening the next day. Directed by Bob Clark, it's widely considered a holiday classic and in 2012 was selected for preservation by the Library of Congress as being culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant. Topic number 5, November 18th, 1903, a treaty was signed between the two nations of Panama and the United States, establishing the Panama Canal Zone, starting the process of the construction of the Panama Canal, which took over a decade to complete. In 1994, the Panama Canal was chosen as one of the 7 wonders of the modern world, along with the Channel Tunnel, affectionately named Chunnel, an underground tunnel connecting England and France, as well as Itaipu Dam, a hydroelectric dam built on the Brazil-Paraguay border, capable of generating 14,000 megawatts of electricity. Today's topic will be the Jonestown Massacre of 1978. If you don't know much about this tragedy, I'd still stick around. I'll be giving clues you might find helpful for the answer. As previously mentioned, Jonestown, which was the site of the mass suicide, was a jungle compound located in the country of Guyana, which is part of what continent? Answer: South America. Question number 2, as I also already mentioned, Jim Jones' cult, the People's Temple, began in the 1950s in Indiana. In what city did he form this independent congregation? Answer: Indianapolis. Question 3, true or false? The People's Temple was initially known for its commitment to social justice and racial equality. Answer: true. Although white, he was able to attract mostly black congregants in a racially divided America. Question 4, which U.S. congressman visited Jonestown shortly before the tragedy? Answer: Leo J. Ryan, after being persuaded by concerned relatives, a group of former members. At first, the visit appeared to go well. However, upon reaching the airport after the visit to the commune, Ryan and those accompanying him were murdered on the runway. Question number 5. What method was primarily used in the mass deaths at Jonestown? Answer: poison-laced punch. The common saying, "Don't drink the Kool-Aid," is now strongly associated with the event. However, some suggest the phrase dates back to the release of the book The Electric Kool-Aid Acid Test that was released a decade prior to the massacre. Question 6. The phrase "drinking the Kool-Aid" is often associated with Jonestown, although it wasn't actually Kool-Aid used. Which drink brand's powder mix was actually used on that sad day to poison hundreds? Answer: Flavor Aid, according to all the sources on the massacre. Question 7. With a death toll of around 900, the Jonestown Massacre marked the single largest loss of U.S. civilian lives in a non-natural disaster until which event that happened decades later, this time on American soil? Answer: the terrorist attacks of September 11th, 2001. Question 8. Although starting People's Temple in Indiana, Jones eventually moved his people to California. Sadly, more than 400 unclaimed bodies from the Jonestown tragedy are buried at Evergreen Cemetery in this Bay Area city in California. Answer: Oakland. Question 9. Jim Jones often preached about equality and socialism, but also, quite hypocritically, claimed a higher religious role. By what familiar title did his congregants call him? Answer: he was referred to as Father or Dad by his followers. Question 10. Jim Jones was motivated at an early age to be an advocate for racial equality and civil rights, partly due to the belief that his father was a member of this extremist right-wing secret society common throughout the United States. Answer: the Ku Klux Klan, or KKK, which had a strong presence in his hometown in Indiana. Jones was convinced that his father was also a member. Question 11. The People's Temple, while in Indiana, put in efforts to end this policy in the state, which was an enforced separation of different racial groups at various establishments like movie theaters, restaurants, and even hospitals. Answer: racial segregation. Although no longer enforced by law, segregation is still prevalent in Indiana schools, according to the UCLA Civil Rights Project. Question 12. Jones would sometimes portray himself as having supernatural abilities, including faith healing, clairvoyance, and this ability, which is communication from one mind to another mind by extrasensory means. Answer: telepathy, or ESP. Question 13. Afraid of investigations being performed in the United States against the People's Temple, Jones started moving his congregation to Guyana in what year? Here's a hint. It was the same year in which we saw the Rumble in the Jungle, a heavyweight boxing match between Muhammad Ali and George Foreman. Answer: 1974. Question 14. November 17th, 1978, in Jonestown, Congressman Ryan was treated to a nice dinner and evening entertainment. Remember, Ryan went to investigate the compound and brought along with him reporters. During the visit, some People's Temple members asked Ryan and his group to help them escape. The next day, Ryan and his people were ambushed by gunmen sent by Jones. Ryan was killed that day, along with a reporter and cameraman from what major American television network? Answer: NBC. 15. True or false, of the many actions that congregants were forced to do at Jonestown, one of them was to learn Spanish to blend in better with the culture of Guyana. Answer: false. Guyana is an English-speaking country, along with indigenous languages and Creole. Question 16, time for the tie-in round, tying in last episode's topic of minority language communities in Europe. For the point, name the type of Creole language you once heard in parts of Guyana, other than Guyanese English Creole, that developed out of this other European language. Here's a hint. Most forms of this Creole are now considered either extinct languages or critically endangered. Answer: Dutch. Dutch Creole. The land known as Guyana was colonized by the Dutch for hundreds of years before it was colonized by the British. That tie-in round was much smoother than last episode's. I hope this topic wasn't too depressing for you. I know some of you love diving into this true crime kind of stuff. If you're one of them, I hope you had a good round. I'll see you next time. How'd you do? Write into the podcast to tell us your score, or if you have any suggestions, thisdaystrivia@gmail.com. That's all we have for today, but make sure to tune in every Monday, Wednesday, Friday for new episodes and new topics. Interested in ad-free episodes, bonus content, transcripts, and my sources for deeper dives into the topics? Looking for archived material from my previous podcasts, Get the Word, and the English sessions? Go over to patreon.com/Bison Podcast Studios and give us just $1 single for all of it. Patreon.com/Bison Podcast Studios. That's patreon.com/Bison Podcast Studios. Follow us on Instagram. Just search This Day's Trivia or Instagram.com/This Day's Trivia. Until next time, this is Mike signing off.